Guild Wars 2 is without a doubt by far the best MMO on the market today. My name is Wolf, and today I'm going to be trying my best to sway your opinions on Guild Wars 2 and get you to download this game and give it a try. Because I have been having a lot of fun with Guild Wars 2, and all of the systems that I've been working with and experimenting around with leaves me impressed and thoroughly enjoying myself in comparison to a lot of other MMOs that I've played. In this video, I'm going to be telling you basically every single good experience I've had with Guild Wars 2 recently and how it stacks up to my experiences in other MMOs, and the reason why I keep coming back to Guild Wars 2 over and over and over. A little bit of background on me: I did play a lot of Guild Wars 1 when I was younger. I probably put about 5,000 hours, if not more, into that game, so that was a lot of my childhood. So Guild Wars 1 and 2 both hold a very special place in my heart. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be objective about this whole video, because I do want to sway people with objective points rather than nostalgic ones. So with that being said, what is the main draw of Guild Wars 2? Well, what if I told you that they have taken every single system that pretty much every MMO has tried to do and put a twist on it somehow, innovated it some way and some new style that just works 100 times better. Mounts, for example. Every single MMO has mounts. Well, what if you had a two-player mount that could also attack people that you could control as the second player? What if your mounts could do attacks that actually just straight up killed things outright? What if, for example, one of my most prevalent leveling techniques involves using a mount attack to clear from pack to pack while remounting and hopping around and speeding around the map? I have literally devised a leveling strategy that involves using my mount to kill things to level quickly. That sort of sentence is not possible in any other MMOs. That is just in regards to mounts. Raiding has also been innovated for endgame content. 5-man content has also been innovated compared to a lot of just standardized dungeons, creating a sort of greater rift system akin to that of Diablo, which also has challenge modes and difficult bosses at tiers 50 and 100, which is exceptional content in and of itself. As well as just the combat system in general is a very simple yet elevated take on MMO combat in general. You still have access to all of your builds and ability switching and creating your own nuanced stuff. However, you have a creative limitation, would be the best way to put it, of only being able to have 10 abilities at one time, which is 5 selectable utility skills and 5 weapon skills that are based around your class. These you can all switch and work around to create nuanced builds, all of which will work and find some sort of success in the open world and in PvP, and in PvE, sorry. You will need to play some of the more meta stuff if you want to raid or do higher end content, but for a lot of the game you can play literally whatever version of whatever build you like and have success with it. You don't have to meta slave to be able to clear the high end content. You can play literally anything, which is just spectacular for my creativity. And as someone who didn't used to enjoy PvE whatsoever and was a PvP only player, the action combat system combined with the freedom of creativity that Guild Wars 2 offers me creates a spectacular sort of dynamic where I can just look at something, go, oh, that looks cool, I want to use that. And then I can use it, and I can actually enjoy myself while doing it, and not think about, oh, well, I should be playing the most optimal build because that's faster here. Because none of that actually matters. That sort of concept and dynamic of doing something faster, or being more efficient, or, doesn't matter at all in Guild Wars 2. Because this is the perfect game for casual players, or people who don't want to, sit down and play 10 hours a day. There is still stuff for you to do if you are one of those players like I am, who sits down and plays 10 hours a day. But this game allows you to cater to both categories, because you will always, so long as you figure out the systems, have something to do and work towards. Because The best part of Guild Wars 2 isn't that, the combat system's amazing, isn't that it innovates on everything, it's not that it's casual friendly, it's that you will always have something to do, and it will be the same thing if you haven't completed the task 6 months from now, a year from now, and 2 years from now. Now, that can be a good or bad thing in a lot of cases. However, the thing that used to always drive me wild was playing World of Warcraft, for example. I would resubscribe to WoW, I would play really hard for a month or two, get all of my arena gear and what have you, and by the time I was ready to go, all of my friends will have stopped playing. And now it's like, okay, well, I've got all this gear, I'm ready to play, and then maybe I'll play for a week or two, and then I'll stop. And then we'll come back 6 months later, and all of my arena gear is outdated and useless, and I have to redo this grind just to get back to where I want to be in the first place. And Guild Wars 2 completely eliminates that in the fact that its gearing system is linear, I guess, is the best way to put it. It just goes sideways rather than always going up. There is still upward gear progression in regards to small nuances. You start off with your exotic gear, which is your general standard stuff that can go through the entire game, all content, all raids, everything, with just this exotic gear. So you don't have to do this gear treadmill if you don't want to. But you can also then, from there, if you want a little bit of a treadmill, get ascended gear, and then after that, get legendary gear, which is a lot of work. Now, where this gets fun is that those legendary pieces are the journey that you're aiming for. So you do have a gear treadmill in a way, only if you want it. However, this treadmill doesn't pick up or slow down at any point through any outside sources, right? So going for this gear, as for example myself, I'm going for a weapon called Incinerator, which is a dagger for my thief. This is something that I have been working towards across the past year or two. I've always wanted to actually get my hands on this weapon and create it myself, but I've never had the ability to do it. But that doesn't mean that, it's not going to be possible. On top of that, all of the progress I have made from 2 years ago is still prevalent now. So if I show you my achievements right here, and I look for Incinerator, if I could spell correctly, you'll see that there's my achievements for the first one and the second one are still completed. All of this is still done, and I did some of these almost 2 years ago now. And I'm still able to just move forward and keep doing all of the things and pick up exactly where I left off. Whereas if this was in a World of Warcraft expansion or an ESO expansion or something, all of this would be pointless now, because this item wouldn't even matter anymore, right? Unless you were going for it for transmog or for something like that. And in this case, this is both a transmog weapon because it looks cool, and it's a legendary weapon, so it's the highest damage, highest statistics dagger that you can get for Guild Wars 2, which for playing a thief and using a lot of daggers is exceptional. It's best in slot, and it looks cool. And I've been working on it for this long of a time, and every time I stop playing and come back, I still make a little bit more progress, a little bit more progress, a little bit more progress. And that is the best part of this game, I think, is that every time you log in, you always have something to do and a reason to do it. You do all of your basic daily stuff, and then after that, you're like, okay, what do I have to work on, right? So for me, I have to go and get these dagger edition things. This requires me going to a map and obtaining a currency from the map and then going and turning it in, right? Now, to create an Incinerator, you also have to have a Gift of Mastery, which requires 100% map completion, right? So I have to complete the entire game to get this item. I have to see literally every single thing in the core game, not in the expansions, I can skip those if I wanted to, but every single thing in the core game to be able to make this weapon. Coupled with all of these extra things that I have to do, all of the crafting things that I've done here, and, the currency-based things that I've also done here. So I have things to do here. If you want to sit down and grind for 10 hours a day, I can go and get all my currencies here. I can get my currencies for this. I can get my currencies for this and get my currencies for this. I have these things to do. I can go and I can, split 10 hours a day into getting the map completion to get the thing that I want. And I can work on that, which I've been doing slowly and surely. So if you're that hardcore player who wants to just sit down and go for something, you do have that capability. And the best part is that it's not just sitting down and going for something that everyone else has, right? It's not like World of Warcraft where it's like, oh, I gotta sit down and grind my legendary cape or grind my legendary ring or do all these quests to get, you know, this shit. No, you can pick and choose which legendary you want, right? So for me, I want the dagger because it looks the coolest and it fits the classes that I play, which is Ranger and Thief. So I decided I want to go for Incinerator. Maybe you want to go for the staff because you play mages, right? So you can go for the Bifrost or Nevermore or what have you. These weapons that look really fucking cool. And they've got, you know, the best stats and all these sorts of things. And that's your personalized, individualized journey, which a lot of MMOs have removed nowadays. The nuance that used to be in Classic WoW or all these sorts of things was that it was your character, your journey, your experiences, you know, the people you met along the way, and what you did, where you went, and, you know, how you went about it. Whereas now, everything is so streamlined in MMOs of like, okay, I hit level cap, I do my heroics, I get my heroics done, I go do my raids, and then, you know, I do my raid finder, then I do my mythics, then I do normal mode, and then I find some shitty guild, deal with guild drama, and then heroic and what have you. It's all this very linear sort of pathing. Whereas Guild Wars 2, you can do literally whatever you want to do, however you want to do it, and whenever you want to do it, right? Say you're in the middle of that period of World of Warcraft, right? And you just finish your raid finders, but then something comes up, your fucking grandmother dies, and magically you can't play for 6 months, right? You come back, all of a sudden, all the gear you got now is worthless. The entire plan you had, completely gone, completely out the window. The guild you were applying for is picked up little Timmy with his 15k DPS hunter, or whatever have you. And you're fucked. You're pretty much screwed. You have to start from square one. And, you know, get new gear, find a new team, all this sort of shit. Guild Wars 2, you can just pick up where you left off with your legendary quest, wherever it was. So for me, I had stopped playing about a month ago because I had some IRL stuff pop up, come back in, and it's like, oh, okay. Well, I just have to go and grind some map currency. I'm doing world completion to work slowly towards the thing that I need for the quest and item that I'm working to obtain. And I can do that on my schedule, because that is by far the best part of Guild Wars 2, is you can pop in, play for 30 minutes, and make progress. Because I was at a point in my life where I wasn't really able to game all that much, due to personal reasons and a weird relationship situation I was in. I only had about 30 minutes in between every couple hours to sit down and game. So I can't, you know, play standard MMOs. You can't do anything like that. You can't even do a fucking dungeon in that sort of scenario, right? So what do? You sit down, you go play RPGs or something, and all this other shit. I wanted to play an MMO, something that I could make progress in. So I picked up Guild Wars 2, and I realized that it was the perfect game. I can go into the open world, I can run around, do whatever I need to do, start making small amounts of progress, and then I can log out, go do whatever it is I need to do in real life. I can come back and pick up exactly where I left off. I don't miss a single beat whatsoever, and it was spectacular. Actually making progress, actually feeling like you're making progress as well, because I've had days in other MMOs like World of Warcraft, or like playing some ESO or what have you, where you do a whole bunch of shit all day and you just make zero progress, right? You're at your gear cap for the most part, and you need this one item, this one piece. So you sit there and you farm the same dungeon all day, every day, right? Or you sit there and you grind and you grind and you grind and you grind, and it doesn't drop. And you're sat there and you're like, well, great, I made no progress today. I did literally nothing today. And that feeling used to drive me absolutely mental of, well, I just spent, 8 hours and made zero progress. That's one of the issues I have with competitive games nowadays too, is, well, I just spent 8 to 10 hours playing and I made zero progress. And Guild Wars 2, it's literally impossible to not make progress somewhere, provided you're just actively playing the game. Because you're progressing through your map completion, you're progressing through whatever your personal achievement is. Like, for example, for myself, I talked about Incinerator, but I even have more than that to do. I have to go and unlock some of my other mounts, like the flying mounts. Getting a flying mount isn't even just like, pay a certain amount of gold. No, I gotta go on a collection, I gotta go on a round trip around the fucking expansion areas to find the griffin egg, to then grow the griffin, to then get the griffin at the end. Or the sky scale, or whatever have you, the two flying mounts. You have to go on journeys to get these things. So it creates this sense of accomplishment when you actually get to it. And I haven't gotten to my incinerator yet, or my dagger that I want yet. But I promise you, when I do, after that 2+ years of work for it, and that tireless, like, grind for it, the amount of satisfaction I'm going to get from just seeing my character with that fucking item, it's gonna be spectacular. Like, even my shoulder piece, for example. My entire armor set that my character is wearing has been grinded for, has been worked for, and is going to exist forever. Yes, transmog pieces are technically the same in WoW, but in WoW, all you have to do is, you know, kill said specific boss over and over and over again. Certain scenarios are different, you gotta do long quest lines and what have you, but every piece of my gear, I did something for. Like, my headpiece is from Halloween, which I had to do a Halloween achievement for and do all the mini games for. My shoulder piece is from a DLC that I didn't actually have access to, so I had to grind it through a PvP reward track that I fully finished, so I played probably about 100 games of PvP just to get my shoulder piece, which I'd wanted for months. My chest piece I bought from the store, the gem store, but I didn't actually spend real money on it because you can convert gold into the in-game currency, or the gem store currency, to get the stuff you want, which I'm also going to be doing later on today to get another armor set that I want to get. So I've actively worked for the armor that I like. My legs are from PvP. My boots are randomized, and then my weapons, both my daggers that glow, are upgraded daggers from the New Year's, the New Year's event that came around about a couple months ago, where I had to go and do all of the New Year's stuff every day for 5 days straight, and then I had to get a whole bunch of currency to be able to upgrade them, because they were just the standard daggers that didn't glow before, and then they got this glowing, sparkling effect after I upgraded them with all of the currency and what have you. So everything my character's wearing has been worked for, and that achievement, that accomplishment, is not going anywhere. I can log off today, I can come back, 6 months from now, and everything will still be there, will still be the exact same, and all of those achievements and everything you've worked towards will still be there and will still matter. Unlike in World of Warcraft, where the next expansion comes out and suddenly nothing matters. You look like a clown going into the new expansion because you're wearing all greens, and yeah, it's not great. So, that has been my experience with Guild Wars 2 so far. Every single part of it is it's perfect for me. That might just be a me thing, I'll be honest with you, but the creativity and openness in the build system, the need for, or rather the not need for a gear grind, and the fact that I can come back and pick it up at any point and pick up exactly where I left off, leads to such a good dynamic too, because it creates a situation where you're not missing out on anything. I haven't even bought the most recent expansion that's come out. End of Dragons, I don't even have it. The pre-order bonuses sucked, so I didn't even pre-order it because I was focused on playing Lost Ark at the time. And this is the sort of game you can literally put down, go play something else that interests you, and come back and have not missed anything. And that is mind-boggling to me, because you do that with any other MMO, any other game nowadays. You come back and you are so out of the loop. There's new quests, there's new shit to do, new gear, all these patches and updates come out, and you're just fucking lost. Whereas Guild Wars 2, you can come back and know exactly what you're doing and continually make progress every single day whilst enjoying doing it as well. And for me, it is just the perfect MMO altogether. Thank you guys very much for watching. Do let me know your opinions down below. This is, of course, an opinion piece, so I may be wrong. But for me, I think I've found my game. I think I've found my place for the next little while. So, let me know what you guys think and what you guys are playing as well. And if this video swayed you to download Guild Wars 2. Thank you guys for watching, and I shall see you in the next one.